Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are continuing with Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 15, text number 8. Shariram yad avapnoti yad chapi utkrama tiswaraha grihapatani samyadhi vayurgandhan ivashayad. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shlakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna to everyone. Thank you so much for joining. So we will cover two verses today of chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 8 and 9. So from this today morning's verse, we can see Krishna is giving us knowledge that there is life after death. Sometimes people tell me, oh no, this life is it. There's nothing beyond this life. Once we die, that's it. That's the end. No. The Bhagavad Gita is very clearly telling us that there is life after death, unless one qualifies, one becomes pure enough to go back to the spiritual world. So this verse number 8 is talking about transmigration. And how does transmigration take place? Based on our actions. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, based on our actions, we face reactions. So, this verse is talking about Ishvara, talking about us, calling us small controllers. Like Ishvara is a controller. So, we living entities, we are small controllers. Why small? Because we can only control our own body. But Krishna is the supreme controller who knows about all the bodies of all different living entities. So, we being small controllers, we think we are great. Are we? No. And how does this transmigration take place? Krishna is talking about, in fact, Srila Prabhupada in his purport explains, we can choose our next body. Isn't that awesome? If we want another material body, we can choose. How? Based on our actions. We can get better bodies, or we can go into the lower species of life, get bodies that take us down to the lower species. So it's all in our hands. Whatever actions we perform during this life, we are going to get another body based on our actions. So, because we have this minute independence to decide, some use it and some misuse it. See? So, there is no point in blaming the Supreme Lord. Oh, the Lord is so doesn't care about me, and look what kind of body the Lord has given me. No, we place the order, and that's what is delivered to us. So we are the cause of even this body that we have now in this life. This is because of our past actions. Very nicely, Krishna gives the example of air. Just like the air carries the aroma. Say the air is passing through a rose garden. So it's going to carry the fragrance of roses along with it, right? So we carry different conceptions to the next body. So supposing in this life, I am in practicing, I'm performing actions in the mode of goodness or passion or ignorance. that same conceptions that I have, I will carry with me to the next body, just like the air carries the aroma. That is why Krishna has explained Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tyajatante Kalevaram Tam Tam Evati Kuntya Sada Tad Bhava Bhavitaha. Whatever bhav, whatever we are thinking at the time of death, to that state we will attain without fail. Krishna is making it very clear. He says without fail. So it's not a chance. It's not, oh, maybe, maybe not. No. So at the time of death, it is decided where do we go? We have to go either in the next material body, whether it is depending on any body between 8.4 different species of lives. It could be any species. It could be insects, birds, animals, human, trees. It could be any. So the time of death is very, very crucial. What are we thinking at the time of death decides where do we go next. You see, it decides our next body. Either we come back into this material world as a human being or as an animal or whatever species it may be, or we go back to the spiritual world. So, very, very important to remember Krishna at the time of death if our goal is to go back to the spiritual world. See? Now, how to remember him at the time of death? Very simple. We need to practice it every day of our life. We have to make spirituality as a habit. We need to chant every day. We need to hear Bhagavad Gita every day. We need to associate with spiritually minded people. We have to make it a habit, which is called a practice. I heard someone say that if we do something for 21 days in a row, it becomes a habit. So why not try to chant at least for 21 days and see? It'll become a habit. But what do we chant? We chant the Maha Mantra that is given to us by Krishna himself when he came down more than 500 years ago. What did he teach us? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. If we make this as a habit, then automatically at the time of death, we will chant, we will remember, and go back to the spiritual world. Now, Prabhupada explains what happens at the time of death. Many people think, oh, death, finished, everything over, chapter closed. Nope. What happens at death? We carry our consciousness to the next body. So if our consciousness is absorbed in Krishna, then we will carry that Krishna consciousness with us. If we, are not able to remember Krishna at the time of death, but at least we will get another human body with that consciousness of Krishna in our next body. You see, so our consciousness goes with us. So Bhagavad Gita explains that this is the gross body that we can see, but there's a subtle body inside the heart. So in the heart is us, the spirit soul, Krishna as the Paramatma super soul, and the subtle body. And the subtle body is mind, intelligence, and false ego. So all these go into the next body. So we have to be very, very careful. What kind of consciousness do we have? First of all, we need to contemplate on that. Am I too absorbed in materialism? Am I too angry? Am I operating in the mode of ignorance or passion? What is it? Am I living like an animal? What does the animal do? Eat, sleep, mate, and defend. These are the only four things. So am I only doing these four activities and nothing more? if I am not inquiring what is the purpose of this human form of life, if my actions are just based on these four activities, then we are no better than the animals. And then at the time of death, we will get a body in the animal kingdom, which means going down into lower species of life. Then what happens? Then, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, then we have to go through the whole evolutionary cycle. Say, from a cat become a dog and then tiger or whatever, just keep going up the evolutionary cycle and then finally come to the form of human being. Well, after going through that whole evolutionary cycle, after achieving the human form, there is no guarantee that we will be able to become spiritualized. There's no guarantee that someone will, explain to us the Bhagavad Gita. There is no guarantee that we will take up this knowledge and become more serious in Krishna consciousness. But then Prabhupada also mentions that those who try to develop godly qualities, then they become demigods. But one who becomes Krishna conscious, which means is conscious of Krishna all the time, that person, that living entity, that spirit soul takes on a spiritual body at the time of death and goes back to the spiritual world. Excuse me, that means, that means no more birth, no more death, no more disease, no more old age. Just go back to the spiritual world where there is permanent happiness. Now, if you'll remember, we heard about the spiritual world in the previous verses, right? What does the spiritual world look like? What can we find over there? Basically, there's permanent happiness. And there is direct association with the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, because he is there. But see, if we do not take up this golden opportunity to understand the Bhagavad Gita, if we do not follow the scriptures, then how will we think about Krishna at the time of death? Prabhupada mentions that unintelligent people do not follow the Shastras. They think after death everything is finished. No, this verse that we read clearly says there is transmigration. Transmigration is a fact. We have to face reactions for all the actions that we perform. Many times I give this example. When we place an order on Amazon or any other place online, when we place an order, that is the article we receive, whatever we have ordered. So our actions are preparing an order for the next body. So very important to be very careful of what kind of actions we are performing. Why is it that Krishna spoke 2 chapters on Karma Yoga, trying to teach us the importance of our actions? We need to understand what is karma, what is akarma, what is vikarma. And our actions should be based on knowledge, not whimsically. Oh, today I feel like doing this, so let me do this, this, and this. No. You got to use our philosophical intelligence and understand whatever am I doing, is it right or is it wrong? Is it based on the scriptures or it is not? Because based on our actions, there will be reactions. You see, our subtle body carries all our conceptions. It goes to the next body. You see? So even this verse is talking about different conceptions going to the next body. So we have to be very careful of our actions. Our actions should be such that they help us to change our consciousness. We don't need to change our family. We don't need to change our job, our city, our country, our clothes, nothing. We just need to change our consciousness. You see? When we change our consciousness towards Krishna, then we are guaranteed to be liberated after death. Then we are guaranteed not to take another body after giving up the present body. You see? The very next verse, number 9, Krishna tells Arjuna that we obtain certain senses, the senses that we have based on our past karma. And all these senses, they are grouped with the mind. And then we try to enjoy the senses. How? With the different sense objects we want to enjoy. So the body and the senses that we have today ordered it last life. And now we're trying to enjoy. Are we enjoying? Our enjoyment in the material world is temporary. It has a beginning and it has an end. This is what Krishna explains, you see. So, very, very, very important to try to understand Bhagavad Gita. You see, Prabhupada says that our consciousness that we have, it is pure like water. Water is pure. When the rain falls, when the raindrops come, they are all very pure. But the moment the raindrops fall in the muddy area, water becomes muddy, contaminated. Or the moment, we mix color in the water, it changes. So our soul is pure, but it gets contaminated in this material world. Krishna has, like the last chapter that we did, number 14, was all about modes of material nature, right? Ignorance, passion, goodness. And Krishna discussed how we can perform our activities in such a way that we can transcend these three modes. Mam chayo bhicharine bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samityatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Krishna says when we engage in full devotional service, full, which means we are chanting, we are hearing, we are associating with devotees, we are eating only blessed food called prasadam, which means we have offered our food to the Lord. When we start doing these activities, then we start engaging in full devotional service. That is when Krishna says, Sagunan Samityatan. Then we can transcend these three modes of material nature and come to the state of pure goodness. See, our consciousness, it gets affected very easily. How? With the people we associate with. So we got to choose our association wisely. With the food that we eat, our consciousness gets affected. What we hear, what we read, where do we go, the place, everything affects our consciousness. You see, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a pastime, or you can say a story of king. This is true. There was a king. His name was Bharat Maharaj. He ruled the entire earthly planet. And at a young age itself, he decided to give up his kingdom and go to the forest to practice spirituality. He wanted to perform bhakti yoga. And he gave up everything, all the opulence, everything he gave up, and he went to the forest. When he went to the forest, he thought he can do bhakti yoga. He can sit down, he can meditate, he can think of the Supreme Lord, and just absorb himself in thinking about the Lord. But it so happened that he came across a baby deer. And looking at the baby deer, just a newborn baby deer, he got attached to the baby deer, and he gave up practicing bhakti yoga, and he spent his future days in taking care of the baby deer. He became so attached to that baby deer that one day when the baby deer grew and went into the forest and did not come back, he was devastated. He was only thinking about the deer. Where is my deer? Where is my deer? And he left his body. It was time for him to die. That was at the time of death. His consciousness was attached to the deer. Guess what happened? In the next life, he got the body of a deer. This is what Bhagavad Gita is saying. Whatever we think at the time of death, to that state we will attain without fail. See, we, being parts of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, we are pure by nature, but because of contamination, based on the food we eat, the association we have, the place we go to, all these things affect our consciousness. Our original nature is pure, but because of association, we lose the taste to perform bhakti yoga. So important to understand this human form of life is very, very rare. Only in the human form of life we can change our consciousness. If we, call the cats and dogs and animals to come and hear Bhagavad Gita, to hear about Bhakti Yoga, they're not going to understand because they don't have philosophical intelligence, but we do. So very important to make sure that we perform the right actions because our actions will choose our next body. You see, why is it that two children are born at the same time? Same day, same time. One is born rich, one is born poor. One is born normal, excuse me, and the other one is born with some defect. Why? The children has had no opportunity to perform any activities. So why are they getting such reactions? Like they say, some are born with a silver spoon. Very rich, very opulent. Some are born very beautiful. Some are not born beautiful. Why is it? Why this discrimination? Is God a fool? Is he just deciding, oh, this one will be rich, this one will be poor? No, it's based on our actions in the past life. Whatever actions we perform, it affects our future body, our future life. Right? There are 8.4 million species of life according to the scriptures. You see? So, being human beings in this life, we should use our philosophical intelligence in the right way and make right choices. So, Bhagavad Gita helps us to understand everything that is necessary for us to be able to do Bhakti Yoga. Who are we? Why are we suffering? Where have we come from? What is the purpose of life? Where do we go from here? Right? All these questions are answered in the Bhagavad Gita. We are fish out of the water and we are trying to enjoy. A fish can never be happy outside of water because its original home is the water. Our original home is the spiritual world, and we are fish out of the water, fish out of that original home. And that is why we are not able to enjoy. We are trying, but no. So it's important that now that we have this human form of life, we take up the responsibility of being a human being. You see, we call ourselves human beings. No, we are spiritual beings having material experience. We are spiritual in nature because the soul is spiritual. Right? We are not this body. That's the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita. We are the spirit soul. So we are spiritual beings experiencing material, having a material experience. So these two verses today have taught us that there is life after death. There is transmigration. This is the knowledge that we have received today. And how do we perform our actions is what is described in the Bhagavad Gita. To be very careful because our actions will definitely give reactions. So it's up to us. We make a choice. Do we want to come back into this material world? Or do we want to break the cycle of birth and death and go back to the spiritual world? If our choice is to go back to the spiritual world, then it's important that we take up Bhagavad Gita very seriously. Try to understand the purpose of human form of life. When we do that, that is when we will be able to progress spiritually, change our consciousness, purify it, and become qualified to go back to the spiritual world. And the easy method to change our consciousness is to somehow or the other purify our mind. So, how do we purify our mind? Is $1 million question, right? How do we do that? So, one easy way is to do mantra meditation, to chant. When we chant the holy names, it purifies our consciousness. So, I have posted some links, and at the bottom of that link is the mantra. Man means mind, tra means to free the mind of all anxieties. So, what we will do is we will just chant this mantra for 10 times just to give you an idea how to chant. And then, my humble suggestion is that you please chant every day as much as possible. So, these are the beads on which we chant. On each bead, we chant the whole Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. See, it's very, very simple, not difficult at all. So it's my humble suggestion is that you please chant this Maha Mantra on a daily basis. Even if you chant for 10 minutes, it makes a huge difference. So I'm going to end now. If anyone has any questions or comments,